My name is Maya. I'm 28 years old and I work as a teacher. My life was simple and happy until one dinner changed everything. My fiancé, Daniel, invited me to meet his family for the first time. I was so excited. I bought a new dress and practiced my smile in the mirror. Daniel told me his family would love me. He said they were kind people. But he was wrong. That night, I walked into a house full of judgment. His mother looked at me like I was dirt on her shoe. His sister whispered to his brother. His father didn't even shake my hand. I smiled anyway. I thought if I was polite, they would warm up to me. But then his mother said something that made my blood run cold. She looked at Daniel and said, "Son, this girl is not wife material." The room went silent. Everyone stared at me. My heart was pounding. I wanted to cry. But instead, I did something that shocked them all. If you're watching this video, please like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments where you're watching my story from. I want to know how far it has traveled. I stood there frozen. Daniel's mother, Mrs. Roberts, sat in a big chair like a queen. She wore expensive jewelry and her hair was perfect. She looked at me with cold eyes. "You heard me," she said. "You're not good enough for my son." Daniel's sister, Jessica, laughed quietly. His brother, Mark, just stared at his phone. Daniel looked confused. He didn't defend me. He just stood there with his mouth open. My hands were shaking. I held my purse tight. Mrs. Roberts continued. "Daniel needs a woman from a good family. A woman with class and education, not someone who works with children all day." Her words cut like knives. I had worked so hard to become a teacher. I loved my job. I helped kids learn and grow, but to her it meant nothing. Mr. Roberts finally spoke. "Let's not be rude, dear." But his voice was weak. He didn't really mean it. I looked at Daniel, waiting for him to say something, anything, but he just looked at the floor. My mind was racing. Should I leave? Should I cry? Should I yell? Then something inside me changed. I remembered my grandmother's words. She always told me, "Maya, never let anyone make you feel small. You are a lion, not a mouse." I took a deep breath. I straightened my back. I looked Mrs. Roberts right in the eyes. "With all respect," I said calmly, "what exactly makes someone wife material?" The room got even quieter. Jessica stopped laughing. Mark looked up from his phone. Mrs. Roberts raised her eyebrows. "Excuse me," she said. "I want to understand," I continued. "What are your standards? Please tell me." Daniel finally spoke. "Maya, maybe we should just go." But I didn't move. I was tired of being quiet. I was tired of people judging me without knowing me. Mrs. Roberts smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. "Well, since you asked," she said. "A proper wife comes from money. She has connections. She knows how to host parties and socialize." I nodded slowly. "I see," I said. "So love doesn't matter, hard work doesn't matter, character doesn't matter." Mrs. Roberts waved her hand. "Those are nice words, dear, but they don't pay bills or maintain status." I almost laughed, almost. "Let me tell you something about myself," I said. My voice was steady now, strong. "I grew up poor. My father died when I was 10. My mother cleaned houses to feed us. I worked 2 jobs to pay for college. I earned my teaching degree by myself. No one gave me anything." Jessica rolled her eyes. "That's very touching, but..." I held up my hand. She stopped talking. "I'm not finished," I said. The power in my voice surprised even me. "I wake up every day at 5 in the morning. I teach 30 children. I stay late to help the ones who struggle. I use my own money to buy supplies when the school can't afford them. I'm changing lives every single day." Mrs. Roberts stood up. She was trying to intimidate me, but I didn't back down. "That's all very noble," she said. "But can you manage a household? Can you entertain Daniel's business partners? Can you fit into our world?" I smiled, a real smile this time. "Can I manage a household? I've been managing since I was 10 years old. I cook, I clean, I budget. I've been taking care of my family for 18 years. Mark actually looked impressed. Mr. Roberts was paying attention now, too. "As for entertaining," I continued, "I've organized school fundraisers that raised thousands of dollars. I've spoken to crowds of hundreds. I think I can handle a dinner party." Jessica tried to interrupt again. "But you don't understand our lifestyle." "I understand perfectly," I cut her off. "You think money makes you better than other people. You think designer clothes and fancy cars mean you have class. But class isn't what you wear, it's how you treat people." The room was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Daniel was staring at me with wide eyes. He'd never seen this side of me. I'd always been sweet and gentle around him. But tonight I was done being gentle. Mrs. Roberts' face turned red. "How dare you speak to me like this in my own home?" "You invited me here," I said calmly. "You served me dinner. Then you insulted me to my face. You told your son I'm not good enough. And you expect me to stay quiet." Mr. Roberts cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should all calm down." but I wasn't finished, not even close. You know what real wife material is? I asked. It's loyalty, it's strength. It's standing by your partner through good times and bad. It's building a home filled with love, not just expensive furniture. Mrs. Roberts sat back down. She looked shaken. I may not have your money, I said, but I have something you can't buy. I have integrity, I have compassion, and I have self-respect. Jessica finally put down her wine glass. You're being dramatic, she said, but her voice wasn't confident anymore. Am I asked. Your mother just told me I'm not worthy of her son. In what world is that not dramatic? I turned to Daniel. He was still standing there frozen. Daniel, I said, do you agree with your mother? Do you think I'm not wife material? His eyes darted between me and his mother. He opened his mouth, then closed it. That moment told me everything I needed to know. Answer her, Mr. Roberts said quietly. Everyone looked at him in surprise. If you love this girl, he continued, then defend her. If you don't, let her go now. Daniel's face went pale. I do love her, he stammered. But Mom has a point about. I didn't let him finish. Stop, I said. My heart was breaking, but my voice stayed strong. If you can't defend me now, you never will. I picked up my purse. Thank you for dinner, I said politely, but I think it's best if I leave. I started walking toward the door. Behind me, I heard movement. Maya, wait, Daniel called. I stopped but didn't turn around. Please don't go, he said. We can work this out. I turned slowly. Tears were in my eyes now, but I didn't let them fall. Work what out, Daniel? Your mother thinks I'm trash, your sister thinks I'm a joke, your brother doesn't even care enough to have an opinion, and you couldn't even defend me. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. I love you, he said desperately. Isn't that enough? I shook my head. No, love without respect is nothing. Love without courage is worthless. Mrs. Roberts stood up again. You're being unreasonable. I was only being honest. I laughed then, a real laugh. Honest, you were being cruel, there's a difference. I looked at each of them one by one. Let me tell you something about wife material, I said. A good wife deserves a good husband, a man who stands up for her, a man who values her, a man who doesn't let his family treat her like garbage. Daniel looked hurt. That's not fair, Maya. Isn't it? I asked. You stood there silent while your mother insulted me. You agreed with her. You showed me exactly who you are. Jessica stood up. You're throwing away a good man because of one dinner. I turned to her. No, I'm walking away from a family that will make my life miserable. I'm saving myself from years of being looked down on and criticized. Jessica looked shocked. We wouldn't. Yes, you would, I interrupted. Because you already did, tonight, the first time you met me. Mr. Roberts spoke again. The girl has a point. Mrs. Roberts glared at her husband. Whose side are you on? I'm on the side of common decency, he said quietly. I was almost at the door when Mrs. Roberts said something that made me stop. Fine, leave, but you'll never find another man like Daniel. You'll regret this. I turned around one last time. This was my moment, the moment where I either crumbled or conquered. You're right about one thing, I said. I'll never find another man like Daniel, because next time I'll find a man with a spine, a man who doesn't need his mother's permission to love someone. A man who judges people by their character, not their bank account. The words hung in the air like lightning. Mrs. Roberts' mouth opened, but no sound came out. And let me tell you what I won't regret, I continued. I won't regret leaving a family that measures worth in dollars. I won't regret walking away from people who think kindness is weakness. I won't regret choosing myself. Mark actually clapped, just once. His mother shot him a deadly look. You think you're so special, Mrs. Roberts said. Her voice was shaking with anger. You think your little speech makes you better than us. No, I said. I don't think I'm better than you. I think I'm better than what you think of me, and that's enough. I opened the door. The cool night air hit my face. Maya, Daniel ran after me. Please give me a chance to fix this. I stopped on the porch. How will you fix it, Daniel? Will you tell your mother she was wrong? Will you choose me over her approval? He hesitated. That hesitation was my answer. That's what I thought, I said softly. I'm sorry, Daniel. I really did love you, but I love myself more. I walked down the steps. My legs were shaking, my heart was pounding, but my head was held high. Behind me, I heard voices arguing. Daniel was finally yelling at his mother. Too little, too late. I got in my car and drove away. I didn't cry until I got home. Then I collapsed on my couch and sobbed, not because I lost Daniel, but because I had spent 6 months with someone who didn't truly see me. My phone started buzzing. Daniel was calling. I ignored it. He called 15 times, then the text started. I'm sorry. Please answer. We can fix this. I'll talk to my mother. Each message made me sadder, not because I missed him, but because he still didn't understand. Talking to his mother wouldn't fix anything. The problem was him. The problem was that he waited until I left to defend me. My best friend Keisha called. "Girl, what happened? You said you were meeting Daniel's family." I told her everything. She was quiet for a minute, then she said, "Maya, I'm proud of you." Those words made me cry harder. "I thought I'd be happy," I sobbed. "I stood up for myself. Why does it hurt so much?" "Because you loved him," Keisha said. "But you loved yourself more. That takes courage." The next day was Sunday. I stayed in bed. I couldn't face the world. But Monday came and I had to go to work. My students needed me. I dragged myself out of bed. I looked in the mirror. My eyes were puffy. My face was tired, but I was still standing. That had to count for something. At school, the kids ran to hug me as usual. Little Tommy said, "Miss Maya, you look sad." I smiled. "I'm okay, sweetie, just tired." But he was right. I was sad. Still, I taught my lessons. I helped with math problems. I read stories. By the afternoon, I felt a little better. During lunch, my principal, Mrs. Johnson, called me to her office. "Maya, is everything all right? You seem different today." I considered lying, but Mrs. Johnson had always been kind to me. "I broke up with my fiancé this weekend," I admitted. Her face softened. "I'm sorry to hear that. Do you need some time off?" I shook my head. "No, being here helps. The kids keep me going." That week was hard. Daniel kept trying to contact me. He sent flowers to my school. He showed up at my apartment. Each time I refused to talk to him. Finally, on Friday, he sent a long email. In it, he apologized. He said he talked to his family. His mother was angry with him for letting me leave. Jessica said I was too sensitive. Mark said I was right. His father said he respected me, but none of that mattered anymore. The damage was done. I wrote back a short reply. "Daniel, I appreciate the apology, but we want different things. You want someone who fits into your family's world. I want someone who builds a new world with me. We're not compatible. Please stop contacting me." After I sent it, I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted. Keisha took me out that weekend. We went dancing. We ate good food. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. "You're going to be fine," she said. "Better than fine, you're going to be amazing." 2 weeks later, something unexpected happened. Mr. Roberts came to my school. I was in my classroom grading papers after school. The secretary called. "Maya, there's a gentleman here to see you, says it's important." I went to the office. Mr. Roberts stood there in his expensive suit. "Can we talk?" he asked. I almost said no, but curiosity won. We sat on a bench outside. "I owe you an apology," he said. "My wife was wrong. The way we treated you was shameful." I didn't know what to say. "I've been thinking about what you said," he continued. "About character and respect. You were right." I looked at him. He seemed sincere. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because Daniel is miserable," he said. "He realizes what he lost. And because I wanted you to know that not everyone in our family is like my wife." I smiled sadly. "I appreciate that, but it doesn't change anything." Mr. Roberts nodded. "I understand, but I wanted to tell you something else. You reminded me of someone." "Who?" "My mother. She was a teacher too. She came from nothing. She married my father and his family treated her terribly. She stood up to them just like you did." I was surprised. "What happened to her?" "She divorced my father after 3 years. She said she wouldn't raise children in a family that didn't respect her. My father fought to get her back. He cut off his own family for her. They remarried and stayed together for 50 years. He paused. "I learned everything important from her, but somewhere along the way I forgot to teach my own wife those lessons. I let her become what I hated." I didn't know what to say. "I'm not asking you to get back with Daniel," he said. "I'm just telling you that you were right, and that you deserve better, even if that better isn't my son." Tears filled my eyes. "Thank you," I whispered. After Mr. Roberts left, I sat on that bench for a long time. I thought about his words, about his mother, about the strength it took to walk away. I thought about my own grandmother. She always said, "The right person will fight for you, but you should never have to fight for respect. That should be given freely." A month passed, then 2 months. I focused on my students. I focused on myself. I started taking art classes. I joined a book club. I made new friends. Life moved on. Then one day, I was at the grocery store. I ran into Jessica. She saw me and froze. I almost walked away, but then I remembered that I had nothing to be ashamed of. "Hello, Jessica," I said politely. She looked uncomfortable. "Hi, Maya, how are you?" "I'm good, really good, actually." She shifted her shopping cart. "Listen, I wanted to apologize. What we did was wrong. I know that now." I studied her face. She seemed genuine. "Thank you," I said. "That means a lot." Jessica hesitated, then said, "Daniel talks about you all the time. He really misses you." "How is he?" I asked, not because I wanted him back, but because I was curious. He's okay. He stood up to Mom finally. He moved out of the family house. I was surprised. Really? Yeah, he told her that if she couldn't respect the people he loves, then he didn't want her in his life. She was furious. Part of me felt sorry for Daniel, but another part was proud of him. That must have been hard, I said. Jessica nodded. It was, but Dad supported him. Even I supported him. We realized that Mom has been controlling all of us for too long. We talked for a few more minutes. Then we said goodbye. As I drove home, I felt something unexpected. Peace. I had stood up for myself. I had walked away with dignity. And I had shown a family that respect isn't optional, it's required. 3 months after that dinner, I met someone new. His name was James. He was a social worker. We met at a community event. He was kind and funny. He asked me out for coffee. On our first date, I told him about Daniel, about the dinner, about everything. I wanted to be honest from the start. James listened carefully. When I finished, he said, I have one question. What? When do I get to meet your family? I laughed. You want to meet my family after hearing that story? Especially after that story, he said. Because if your family is anything like you, they must be incredible people. That's when I knew he was different. James wasn't intimidated by my strength. He celebrated it. We took things slow. He met my mother and my grandmother. They loved him. My grandmother pulled me aside and said, this one has a good heart, and he's not afraid of a strong woman. 6 months later, James and I were still together. We talked about the future, about dreams, about building a life together. 1 year after that terrible dinner, I got an invitation. Daniel was getting married. He sent me a personal note. Maya, I want to thank you. You taught me what love and respect really mean. I found someone who my family respects, but more importantly, someone I respect and who respects herself. I hope you found happiness too. You deserve it. I smiled. I was genuinely happy for him. I sent a card congratulating him. That night, James and I had dinner at my apartment. What are you thinking about? He asked. I'm thinking about how one terrible night changed my whole life, I said. That night, I could have stayed quiet. I could have accepted their treatment, but I chose to respect myself, and that choice led me here, to you, to this life, to happiness. James took my hand. I'm glad you chose yourself because that's the woman I fell in love with, the woman who knows her worth. We kissed, and I realized something important. The right person doesn't make you question your worth. They remind you of it every single day. The story you have just heard teaches us that self-respect is not negotiable. Maya could have stayed quiet, accepted the insults, and tried to win over Daniel's family. But she chose differently. She chose her dignity. She chose her worth. Sometimes walking away is the bravest thing we can do. Sometimes saying no to the wrong person opens the door to the right one. If you were Maya, what would you have done? Would you have stayed and tried to prove yourself? Or would you have walked away with your head held high? I want to know your opinion because every story is like a candle that can light the path for someone else. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. Never accept less than you deserve. God bless you, and may courage guide your hands. Meanwhile, on the final screen, I am leaving you with one of the channel's most beloved stories. I am sure you'll love it. Thank you for staying with me until this moment.